That would take us into the decision ultimately to return rather than stick in the NFL draft, and what all went into that.
Uh, I just felt like this was the best decision for me to be guaranteed to keep playing the sport that I love. Uh, I feel like Oregon is home, so like it's a great place to play. You know, I love playing for Coach Lanning. So yeah.
Eric on the left.
Weird kind of being on this roster where you are really one of the veterans who's been here from the start with Dan, and kind of what kind of a role does that offer you in terms of just being one of those guys?
I feel like my time here, like I haven't been like much of a vocal leader. So I feel like with everybody being so young, I try to like enforce the standard of like Coach Lanning has set here with all the great players that have came. So it's not like a fall off, you know.
James.
Do you look at guys running back wise who are either at the combine this year or former guys like I know Locke and Samp have both put you guys in touch with some of their former guys in
Mhm.
terms of guys maybe similar build to you in particular in terms of for comps and for things that you could work on over this last year, knowing it's your last year.
Yeah, I do. I definitely want to, get bigger. That's always one of the things. Play with more violence, I guess. And just attack my last year because that's what it is.
Chris on the right.
Yeah. Noah, what can you tell us about Hughes and how he's looked these last couple weeks, and what do you think he'll bring to the running back room?
I think he brings a sense of violence, like especially him in Memphis drill, like him pass protecting. Like he doesn't take contact, he enforces it. And the same thing like within his running style. Like he a big body, he's fast. And it's just I don't think anybody's really gonna want to tackle him. Same it's a lot of people in our room, same thing. Yeah.
Eric on the left.
Wondering what the last year's been like for you physically. Obviously, having the knee surgery a year ago, you were rehabbing it. Now you feel like you're 100%. Like, what was the year like in terms of getting back to that point, and just kind of speak to the knee and where you're at with it?
Uh I feel like I'm the most confident I've ever been in it now. Because I mean, it was a pretty big injury. Now I feel 100% healthy. Not more so physically, because I always felt like I've been there physically, but like mentally, being able to just have fun and play and not really think about it.
Going back to what I was just asking about, was Daryl Henderson a guy, just because I know he was a lock guy from Memphis, but Rashad also coached him at the Rams for that year. So I just didn't know if that was a guy who you either was in touch with or looked at his game because, again, similar build. I think he's also about 5'8", 200. Is that a guy in particular who you may model your game after, look in terms of how he made it to the league?
It's crazy you say that because I used to like watch his highlights all the time. Like after I met Coach Locke used to like always tell me about him, and then it got to a point where I feel like my I feel like my game started to change the more I watched his film. So yes, yeah.
How so?
Uh, really just the way he like exploded through the hole. I feel like before I got hurt, that was something I was a little timid. Like I felt like I wasn't hitting the hole as hard as I could, and I feel like that year Daryl when he went like 10 yards per carry, he had a crazy year like that. He was just hitting the hole as hard as he could. So yeah.
Back right, Aaron.
A big difference between this spring and previous springs here is this spring you're a dad. What is being a dad kind of? Are there any life lessons that you've kind of realized since becoming a dad?
Funny thing, yeah, I've learned a lot of life lessons. It's fun, I feel like being a dad and playing football, they don't necessarily go together because of the time, but it's kind of like rewarding to like have a long hard day of like trying to get better and then going home and playing with your kid. Like I feel like that's the thing that really makes my day used to just be football, 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 football. Now it's like when I'm here, I am the kid, and then when I go home, I am the adult. So I feel like, yeah. a lesson I've learned is, take the time to spend with them when you get it, because it's like playing the sport, you don't really have a lot of that, because it's like you really got to be committed, you know. So yeah.
Two more, Eric and then James.
What have your impressions been? I know it's early for like Dier, especially just basically got here, but Jordan and him and the younger players, what have you seen from them? What are you encouraged by?
I would say like in the future, definitely got like a thunder and lightning duo. You know, Jordan is like a force to be reckoned with. I feel like when he's a downhill runner, he a little heavy, but he not slow. So it's kind of like with that much mass and speed, that creates a lot of power. So it's like, yeah, he's gonna cause a lot of problems. And then the air, he just got here, but just seeing his ability to like jump cut, his speed. We was doing some drills the other day. I'm like, you got to learn how to control that. Like, it's a superpower because he's just so fast. Like, and I think in the future, that's gonna be like his superpower, because he's gonna be able to, be that home run hitter. Like if he get loose, he gone. Yeah.
Last question, James.
To go back to being a dad,
Mm-hmm.
take us into break, because it looked like you guys were having fun at Disney there. Was that Florida or Anaheim? And just what does your break look like as a dad and in that role compared to some of your teammates who were down in Puerto Vallarta and doing all that
In
kind of
Mexico.
thing?
Yeah, my break was, I was a dad. I went and saw Mickey Mouse in Florida. I also went there for a wedding. Had a family member get married. My break was pretty much similar to what it's always been, though. Like, I always go home for the break and see my parents. I took my son to go see a lot of his family, and just hang out, kicked it with my grandparents.